Today we're going to talk about the importance of a whip hose, what it is and why you should have one. A whip hose, these are two examples right here, are just a short piece of hose. And what you do with that is you put it at the end of the hose that you normally would have your nozzle or your sprinkler on or something like that. And the point is simply that way it does not damage your regular hose. You can beat this one up. When this goes bad, you can replace it. I have two different types here. Both of these I got at the Home Depot. This one was about $9 and the black one was about $20. This is 15 foot and that one is 25. Really, it's a matter of what you want. A lot of times these little short hoses like this are not going to be the greatest quality. So if you look at this here, you know, it's a light duty hose. It'll bend, it'll kink, but it's short. So if the kink does happen, then that could happen hopefully closer to you, so you don't have to go traipse all the way back to where the hose is connected, where it all, you know, bunched up on you and did all that. This way it's just real nice and easy. You can beat this up if you break these connectors or run it over with the car or something like that. It's no big deal. And like I said, this really wasn't expensive. It was $9. Now this one here is actually a Goodyear hose. It's a rubber hose. This is going to wear like iron, if you will. It's going to hold up. It's going to remain flexible even in cold weather. It's got nice connectors on it. And I figured I'd probably end up using this so it would be nicer. Now the one problem that you're going to have is that this is going to get scraped up on the concrete. So that's not really that big of a deal if it gets beat up, because this is essentially a throwaway hose. But if you want to keep it looking nice, you can put something around the hose. Now, I have something special I'll show you in a minute, which you might be able to find online, but you can get a tennis ball, and with a good utility knife and being really careful, you can cut a hole at each end and split it down the center. And then you could fit that over your connectors here. Another thing that would work, if you don't really care what it would look like, is you can get one of those like 20-ounce soda bottles, the plastic soda bottles, and you can cut the top of it off and the bottom of it off and have that over it. And then to attach it to the hose, you can either just drill a couple of holes through it and put some cable ties or twist ties, or you can just duct tape it. And that'll be that if you don't care what it looks like. But that way at least it'll protect this stuff, keep it from getting scratched up. Another great reason to have a whip hose is if you have a nice garden hose. I got tired of buying hoses every couple of years. They'd break or the connectors would break on them, something like that. And then you got to throw out a whole long hose, you know. I found this one at Lowe's actually. And this is a really, really strong hose. This thing will not kink no matter what you do. It's really stiff, but it's also really heavy and hard to work with. So a whip hose, if you're only doing a short distance away from where the hose is, well, the whip hose is going to be a lot more flimsy. And although, yes, it may kink, again, you're going to be right there. And also, you'll be able to unkink it very easily, and it's going to work with you instead of almost against you. The best way to pull this hose around is actually over my shoulder. That's how it works best because of how heavy this is. This also is a 3/4 inch hose, and this is a 100-foot hose. Once again, I got this at Lowe's. I think it was about $60, and I think it's also the only red hose they have, at least now. In this I got in 2017, they had in 2018, and again in 2019. I've been there. So we're going to go ahead and put on the whip hose to this one here. Also, this is 3/4 inch hose. Most hoses are 5/8. Unfortunately, the whip hose is going to be 5/8, but I don't have the kind of water pressure that would even really benefit from this anyway, so it doesn't make much of a difference in the end. Now obviously there's not much to hooking this up. You just screw the hoses together and that really is it. Make sure you have a washer in here. Most hoses will come with them, but sometimes they fall out, so make sure when you buy a hose that you check to see if it has a washer. If it's not there, find another one. And they don't always put it right in the end there. They could put it on one of the little twist ties that hold it to the packaging. I'm just going to go ahead and connect this up. Get it nice and tight. You don't need a wrench. You don't ever want to use a wrench on there. And essentially, you're all set and ready to go with your whip hose. You can see it's smaller, like I had explained. Now, I explained that you could use a soda bottle or a tennis ball. I happen to have these things here. These are what were used on hose reels that are sort of the enclosed variety. They look sort of like a box when it's all done. You don't see the hose. So I happen to have two of these. So we're going to go ahead and put these on. And that way it's going to elevate these connectors off of the ground. Now, it's not going to fit nicely over the hose because this is not the right type of hose for it. In fact, I got to unscrew this one entirely, like that, and then stick it back on and sort of press it together as best it'll do. It's because these hoses are so thick, I'm never going to get a perfect gap there, but that's okay. It's just there to protect the hose. I'll start one side and then go to the other. This one was missing a screw for whatever reason, but it so happens a drywall screw will fit it, and that bites into the plastic as well, so that'll work. So that looks good there. So that one's on, and now I'm going to put the other one on right over here, kind of about the same distance away. It looks like this hose may be too big for it. I don't think the screws are going to be long enough, so I don't think I'm going to be able to put it there, unfortunately. It just doesn't look like it's going to work. So I'll move this one down, but it's got this little strain relief on it. And this way it'll kind of help to keep this off the ground. It's going to get beat up. Remember, this is your beater hose anyway. So I'll move that down. It turns out that actually works. It keeps it just enough off the ground. And again, if this were in here, you can just put one on one side and you're all set. So that's actually going to work quite well. So I just want to show you, this is a 25-foot hose, the whip hose. And it goes all the way down here to my spray nozzle. So if I have anything in this area that I need to water, I'm never even going to touch that red hose. And if it were to kink for any reason, I'm not going all the way out. You know, now I have a total of 125 foot, so that'll be a real bother if this started kinking on me. So it always pays to get a very good quality garden hose and then get a whip hose for the more light duty stuff. And again, you can beat the crap out of this, and if it goes, you know, this one was a nice one at 20 bucks, but this one here was only about $9, and it'll give you mostly the same idea. So hopefully this video helped you out. If it did, please consider clicking the like and subscribe buttons. That lets me know I did a good job making this video, and I can continue to provide them for you. Have a great day.